Welcome back to Mark Holubit's vlog, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Hey, what do we got here? We got some gloves. Why is that? Because we're actually doing a little cleanup on the F Type today. I think it's time. Now the vehicle's been sitting, spring's amongst us, and now it's time to actually get this thing cleaned up. But there's more of a reason than just spring to clean this vehicle. The problem is, after driving on these nasty roads, there's a lot of bad contaminants. What you'll find when you live in this place, it's called Alberta, you park the car outside for a day or 2 days, you wind up with a film of dust. And it's not just dust, it's not like nice, clean dirt dust. It often feels like almost like a corrosive type, very gritty dust. It's so bad, in fact, that you run your fingers along it and it actually feels like it's scratching the paint. Yeah, we have geese here too, that's right. But the worst part is, every time even touching the car, and it feels like when you're dragging your finger along, it actually feels like it's scratching the paint. Like, I come here, the other day, for example, I was washing my car. Actually, I washed it yesterday. And even after a good wash and some warm water, I still found, like, dragging a lint-free microfiber towel, you could actually still feel kind of like a rough, you could feel like an abrasive, almost like dirt was on there, but it wouldn't come off. So that's clearly a sign that you've got too many paint contaminants on the paint. Now, I'm not pretending to be a detailer. That's not my game. That's not what I do. There's people that are much better at it than I do, but I'm pretty good at researching, and that's why I want to share with you guys how I take care of the F Type. That's going to be a bit of a series as well, because honestly, now we're into spring, and I want to show you guys what I do to keep this car looking so damn good. And I'm just going to have a little fun today, clay bar the car, give it a bit of a wipe and a wash, and then we'll see if the paint is much smoother. Again, one thing to note is once you wet your car down, and if you feel just very lightly, and you rub your finger on there very lightly, you'll feel a drag. You can actually feel that little grittiness. Join along, everyone, for a day that I'm spending out in the evening with some warm, sunny weather, and the day with the F Type. And we need one of these microfiber towels. Let's dry it off. Right. It's pretty easy to get these kits, and it's a clay bar kit. Comes with essentially a spray wax detailer here, or something to lubricate, because you can't be clay barring, which is, of course, I've got a piece of clay right here, and that's meant to basically shear off all the contaminants, the little bumps as you feel that gritty, almost a sandy feel. This is meant to grab all that. Now, what I'd say, because I'm gonna do this once today, hopefully I can get some mileage out of this clay. The idea is, number one, if you ever drop this on the ground, throw it away. You never want to introduce any of that contaminant. So I'm just gonna tear a piece off here and take a chunk of clay right now, and then I'm gonna pre-work some areas. When I was washing the car, I really felt like the horizontal areas, the fenders, the hood, they were the areas that really felt gritty, probably because crap's settling on top. As I got around the sides, it wasn't quite as bad, but definitely you only need to really work the areas that are essentially in rough shape. So I'm gonna package this up. I'm gonna use this spray, and we're gonna spray it. We'll just give it a good wash down. You don't need to really use a whole lot of pressure. You just want to lightly drag that down there, just so it grabs all that junk that's on the surface. But you want to feel around, and it feels gritty. Oh, it feels nice and smooth already there. It feels rough there. So you basically just want to repeat and just kind of go down. I wouldn't suggest you go any like circular patterns. Anytime you do that, you introduce a chance of extra swirls and scratches. But we're just gonna kind of work this along, and this is the way I do it. This isn't necessarily a DIY. I just want to show you guys what I do. This is, again, take it for what it is. It's a simple little job. But again, I just kind of want to show you how I roll. And we want to get the paint feeling nice and shiny. Once I do all of this, I'm going to prepare the car in other ways too. But, well, I actually had to grab another piece because, well, the other one was getting kind of crusty and worn out. Now I have the paint protection film. I'll go lightly over that as well. But anyway, the key here, I even did the glass with what was left over from the other one. because even the glass had some of that crappy film on it. So we just kind of spray this down liberally, and then again, you know, just do that, you know, because it's going to take all that garbage. It kind of sticks to the clay. That takes all that junk with it. So it's like, you can almost hear it. It's kind of nasty, all that grit on there. But we're going to finish it off. We're going to wash this after. And we'll probably do a wax. So don't need to go very hard. Especially on the hood. They have such a beautiful hood. You don't want to ruin the look by getting aggressive. So you want to use a lot of the lubricant. Otherwise, you'll have a bad situation and a real bad day. All right, so we're gonna add a little water now. So we've finally done the whole car here now, and at least the top surfaces. And we're just gonna rinse all this ugly stuff off, and we'll give it a bit of a wipe. Get everything, all the residual off of there, and then we'll be ready for wax. Actually, I gotta say, it really turned out nice, but let's give it a wipe. And then obviously you don't want to use anything abrasive either. Clearly anything polyester, what have you, are bad. General, like rags, rough rags. This is nice, microfiber. Let's give it a wipe. Wow, look at that. It is shining. It's in its ultimate glory. The F Type is looking as hot and snarly as usual. Basically, it takes you a couple hours and you can get this thing looking tip-top. You know, after a hard winter, rough roads, ugly conditions, it's nice to spend a little time and give it a little love, really. But let's show you. I'm going to show you what some of the things I've done, some of the things I normally do to clean this to make sure that it's looking tip-top. As you can see, we did the clay bar on the entire car. It looks tip-top shape, absolutely. Barely a mark on it. That car just looks amazing. Then, of course, all these little jobbies down there, there's those little vents. You know, you can use all kinds of different detailing brushes. I just did a quick wash. That's not done, although I just need to clean that up yet. You can get all kinds of those little add-ons and things that you can poke in those holes to clean that up. I even use sometimes a Q-tip or a few Q-tips and kind of wipe around in each one of those one at a time. Takes time, but it's worth the effort. And then, of course, the tires. I always give them a little bit of that black polish around, but of course, today all I did was the actual paint treatment. So I wasn't worrying too much about all the other details, but normally I give the tires a touch of the black, make it to shine. Of course, the calipers are always worth wiping out. You definitely want to detail that, especially with the big red calipers like this. I always get in there real well and use a rag and grab every little corner and nook and crannies. I always give that a good clean. That white ring around there, I always make sure that's always clean. The carbon fiber blades, I always use a separate rag for that, just because you don't want to start scratching that up by wiping undercarriage. So I don't even go there. That's usually the last thing I do, is the under the rockers. That's one of the last touches. I usually kind of work my way from the top to the bottom, and of course these also almost always exclusively get a fresh rag just for the carbon fiber touches. And again, as I say, after I'm done with all of this, I basically move my way down and then I give that wipe at the very bottom, just because there's nothing worse than, you know, you take a look back at a vehicle like this and you see people that don't take the care to detail, and you'll always notice that dirty area under here. 10 seconds of wiping time just to clean that up real nice in the bottom. Of course, the glass, this has lots of it. You always want to detail the glass, so I always give that a real good clean with Windex. Same thing at the back and the front. Always do the glass. That's always a must. Clean windows, clean tires always make the car look 90% right there. That's the majority of the detailing, if you can believe it. The next plan, I'm gonna back the car into the garage, but I don't have time today, so I'm not gonna do it today. I'm actually going to watch the hockey game. We're in the final game potentially between Edmonton Oilers and, of course, the Calgary Flames. It's the Battle of Alberta, big game tonight, so we're gonna go watch. And so I've run out of time, but I've essentially given the car the majority of the cleaning. The clay bar, it looks beautiful. It turned out immaculate. So the next thing I'll be doing, I'm gonna park the car away, and then of course I'll be doing the old wax treatment. I'm gonna get this thing polished up, looking better than new. You've gotta always have something to do with these cars. Keep them looking tidy, clean, and it's just a little bonding time with your favorite toy, the F Type. So again, I hope everyone enjoyed it. It's just a typical night. You know, I just want to share with you a typical evening when the weather's nice, the car's a little dirty, and it's ready in time to do some detailing. That's one of the things I like to do. Spend a little time doing what I'd like to do with the F Type. So hope you enjoyed it. And again, as always, if you love the F Type, definitely drop me a line. I'd love to hear what you think. And at the very least, hey, thanks to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate it. And for those that haven't yet subscribed but are watching, please make sure you smack that subscribe button and become part of the crew. After all, remember, life's too short to drive boring cars, and let's face it, I'm just here to demonstrate that you can actually have a life. You can have a wife, kids, and you can have a full-time job, and you don't have to sacrifice any of it for the sake of enjoying a fun driving experience. After all, it's about living the car dream.